Delivery is in demand, but is it profitable? I'm Abbey Lewis. I'm the Vice President of Content Strategy here at CSP. And today with us on C-Store Tech Talks live from the Retail Media Network Forum is Justin Jackson. Justin is the President and Chief Revenue Officer at Lula Commerce. He's going to break down how C-stores can win with smart, sustainable digital strategies. Hi, Justin.
Hello.
Welcome so much to Tech Talks. I'm glad to have you here. I want to start out really quickly and talk a little bit about the big picture, okay? One of your main areas of focus is on the evolving landscape of digital commerce and delivery for convenience stores. Why is this important right now, and what key challenges do you see retailers struggling with?
Yeah, so digital in general and delivery specifically are responses to the ever-changing customer demand. And what we're seeing these days is that consumers are redefining what does convenience mean. Yeah. One day it was enough to have the convenience store a few miles away.
Right.
Now, if it doesn't come to your living room, it's not convenient enough.
Right.
So we're seeing that growth in demand driven by the customers, and we're figuring out how can we best help retailers respond, but do so in a way that maintains profitability, maintains that customer connection with reviews and stuff like that. So there's a lot of little things that go into the administrative side of it, and that's what we see retailers struggle with the most. It's rarely the big picture of we should do delivery. Got it. But it's all the things that build up to it.
Right, for sure. So I guess then defining success is probably a challenge too. Profitability around delivery isn't really necessarily about a single offering, but about the entire ecosystem. Can you talk a little bit about what that means and break down what differentiates successful retailers from those that are struggling with it a little bit?
Yeah, so I think it starts with an appreciation of kind of the end-to-end process that is digital and is delivery. It's not just throwing stuff in a bag and sending it to a customer who ordered.
Right.
You have the channel it comes from. So you have first party, you have third party. Third party, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, everybody's kind of familiar with those. But then there's the strategy of, well, we want to own the customer as well. And oftentimes that's a response to the relationship that the customer wants with you, right? So the customer identifies with your brand, identifies often with your loyalty program, identifies with earning value from repeat visits. They want to capture that. And so they want that direct relationship. So you can't just have third party, although you can start there and grow there and get used to processing transactions. Sure. You can't really just have first party, because then you're not going to reach the broad set of customers that are out there and often searching for the value that you can deliver. And so understanding kind of the end-to-end ecosystem, the packaging, how do you work with delivery drivers? How do you work with the DSPs, as we call them, or delivery service providers? So all of that ecosystem is incredibly rich, with a bunch of constituents that have their own demands and their own needs. And so we kind of put it all together for the retailer and help them serve the customer best and profitably.
It's a balance. It really sounds like a balance. Can we talk a little bit about that profitability equation? You've outlined 7 key components of delivery profitability. Can you talk about these a little bit, and which of these is the most underestimated for retailers and why?
Yeah, so I won't go through all 7. You can read the profitability guide and kind of go through all of those. But what I'll tell you is it's all the little day-to-day things that add up and can really hurt your profitability. Okay. So the delivery service providers are watching you and every retailer that is offering product for delivery and product for sale digitally for ultimate delivery or pickup. And they're looking, did they get it accurate? Did they get it fast? Was the quality the way it should be? And underlying all of those is like, did they respond at all? So if you get 2 or 3 orders a day and one of those orders, 10, 15 minutes go by, you don't do anything with it, it cancels on its own, or the customer gets frustrated and cancels, that's a 1/3 hit to you. Right. And so how do you deal with that, and how do you make sure that that doesn't happen when you're getting just a few orders today and hopefully more tomorrow in the next month and the next quarter? And so all of these little things, from like the tablet going offline to the store associate unplugging it, charging their phone and not plugging it back in, to the non-responsiveness if they're just not paying attention to the incoming order and bagging it, to the driver showing up. So all of these little things that are underappreciated add up to big differences in you showing up at the top of the list versus the bottom of the list, or getting kicked off the platforms altogether, or put in the penalty box for some period of time before you're let back on. So those are the things that we coach our customers, our retailers through, and end up seeing tremendous success above and beyond your peers who think, okay, I just got to get online. I got to have my menu uploaded in sync. I got to have my items there. And then we're good.
It's not that simple.
All the little things, because once you start tackling all those little things, it really chips into your profitability. They stop sending you orders, so your growth stops. You have to address, and they send you penalties for not delivering the order on time. And so you get hit with a couple bucks here and there. And those all add up. And as I said before, this is a game of inches. And so if you're not paying attention to the pennies and the dollars, it's going to eat away at your profitability really quickly.
Well, what are some best practices that retailers can adopt to improve these little death by a thousand cuts kind of mentality thing?
Yeah. So if you think about the flow of an order, when you're ordering, and we talk to plenty of retailers who say, I don't do that Uber Eats or DoorDash stuff, but my kids do, or, I hear about people who do, or my customers clearly want it. And so, but if you think about it, you're placing an order because you don't want to go anywhere. You want it fast. You want it brought to you. The app says it's going to be there in between 19 and 24 minutes, right? And so you're expecting that. But if 10 minutes go by before anybody at the store addresses it, you're eating into that time.
Right.
It could have been 2 or 3 minutes. And so, unfortunately, there's no substitute really, unless you get a technology one, to like oversight on the store to make sure that they're delivering on that promise, that implied minutes to delivery promise. And so, one of the things that we've done is we've used AI, and I know we'll talk about that in a minute, but we've used AI and kind of like triggers based on technology to let us know when that promise isn't being met and to take quick action at scale.
Okay.
So, that's one example of something you can do. Looking at the data, we talk a lot about data here at this conference, and understanding, how do we use that data and take it into action? So some of our most successful retailers are deep in the weeds of that data every single week, looking at which of my stores responded quickly, which of my stores got the best reviews, which of my stores had the highest conversion, if you're on the 1P side of things. And so looking at that data and understanding what actions you can take out of that is also a muscle that you have to develop in this business.
All right. Well, we promised everybody that we were going to talk about AI. So I'm going to jump right into that. You all use AI to help retailers manage their delivery operations. Can you share an example of how AI-driven insights have saved retailers time and money?
So with the AI insights, we basically take an engine. We know what good looks like. We know what time of day values look like. And we can just say, take all this massive data and look for the anomalies that should be acted on really quickly. A store is down, an inventory sync may not have worked the way we thought it was, or it worked, but the inventory wasn't right on their end, and we need to jump on those items. So there is kind of this underlying use of AI to look for quick anomalies that we need to jump on.
Okay.
But there's also kind of what we call operators. So Lula launched AI operators, which is the first in the business. And what we look for are signals that things aren't going the way they should be. And we deploy AI in, human voice sounding calls to remedy the situations instantly. So when we look at our first 4 months, and I'll just go back to this data point, it was like over 1,500 calls around low batteries on tablets.
Yeah.
So we use device management. We get a signal from it that says the battery just dropped below 15%. We've trained a script and a human voice to call that store. The agent picks up, the associate at the store picks up, and it says, hey, this is Justin with Lula. Your battery's on, running low.
Yeah.
Please plug it back in. And we see a high level of compliance where they're plugging it back in.
That's so cool.
You don't think about these things when you think about I'm going to get online, you think about revenue, you think about dollars, you think about inventory sync and all the back ends, but you don't think about the little things. And so we, nor can you really do anything at scale with humans. We used to do it. We tried, and we've followed the philosophy, like we will deploy humans first to learn, and then we will figure out how to replace it with AI so that the humans can go do something else of value to our retailers. And so deploying AI in that way, and 9 or 10 other ways that make up kind of today's version of Lula's AI operators are what is bringing tremendous value from an AI, practical use of AI to our retailers.
Super simple.
Yeah.
It's really simple. Yeah. Does anybody ever try to engage with the AI?
They do. And you can hear the recordings on that. And it's funny. And, down the road, we will certainly have the ability to go back and forth. But right now it's kind of like get started, show value, and our retailers are loving it.
That's awesome. So let's look ahead a little bit. What's the next evolution of digital commerce in C-stores? Will drone automation delivery play a role? Tell us about the futuristic visions that you have.
I wish I knew the future. I wish I knew the future.
Justin.
I follow this as avidly as anybody, but and I do think that drone delivery is going to have its place. I think that autonomous vehicle delivery is going to have its place.
Go to any college campus. It's happening right now.
Exactly. My daughter in Colorado was commenting on the robot running around.
They're so cute.
The campus and how people were decorating it and all that. It's kind of taken a culture of itself. But when I think about the future, the thing that drives me and kind of I bring to Lula is like, what's not going to change, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that, and I admittedly completely steal this from my days at Amazon, but it's what's not going to change that really should drive your long-term investments. And customers never have said, I wish my item took a little bit longer to get to me, or I wish it was a little more expensive. So we know anything that can drive scale and kind of remove cost from the equation can help our retailers keep prices down in delivery, and anything that can help stores scale their human efforts can help things get to the customer faster. And so we're kind of focused on how can we help in those ways. And I think broadly speaking, the delivery space and convenience is going to be focused there as well.
I think that is a perfect place to end this conversation, Justin. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so very much for joining us here on our Tech Talk series. Come back, see us some other time. We'll see you next time. Justin,
thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Yep.